Yes guys, the next topic is collections. So why we need to go with collections? As I already mentioned, the arrays will have some drawbacks. So to overcome the drawbacks, this particular topic collections was introduced into C#, even in Java also. So remember one particular scenario in earlier, not nowadays. Nowadays RAM is very cheap and everybody are able to maintain. So normally whenever you are declaring a variable, it is going to store in RAM space. Inside RAM there is a separate space called heap memory. So under this heap memory our variables will get stored, even arrays also. So suppose imagine this particular box is of heap memory. So assume everywhere it is occupied, only a few specific locations are available. So this is one, this is another, and this is another, this is another, something like this. So whenever at this situation, if the RAM was completely occupied, you have only limited memory locations available. So at that time, the array is not going to be fit, because array requires continuous memory locations, one after another. But at that time, so in case if you want to store any particular value, so it is going to be out of the memory location concept. So what is mean by the topic collection means it is going to collect all the free locations available in the RAM. So then it is going to accommodate the values. This is what the topic called collections. It is collecting empty variables inside the heap memory. So there are different types of collections available. Majorly you can classify them into root category type, that is two types. One is non-generic collections, and the second one is generic collections. Non-generic collections and generic collections. Inside non-generic again we have array list, stack, queue. So array list, stack, queue, these are non-generic collections. So coming to the generic collections, we have list, and we have set, and we have dictionary. So these are the root classifications. So guys, non-generic collections can store all data type elements at one shot. So in a single collection, I can able to store one integer, one string, one character. According to my requirement, I can use anything. Okay. So coming to this generic collection, at the time of declaration, you should stick on for one particular data type while storing the values. First of all, let me complete this array list, then complete this non-generic collection, then we can have the examples of generic collection. So whenever you are working with non-generic collections, you have to import using system.collections. So you have to import a namespace using system.collections. So then only I can get the class called array list. So array list al is equal to new array list. So al dot add, there is a method called add. So I am able to store some 10. 10 is nothing but it's an integer. So and one more thing, I am using some decimal values, and I am adding character, and I am adding a string. Okay, and I am adding a boolean value, and I am adding date time value. I mean to say, what I am trying to tell you, array list will support all data type values. So whenever we are printing the value, so here it should be always var data type, because it can have multiple data types. If it is one data type, you can stick on for that one, but array list supports for multiple data type values. That is the reason it should be always var data type. So let me consider some x. So here you can take al. So now while printing, I can print two things here. So one is x, another one is x dot get type. So get type is nothing but, so where it is going to get the type of the particular variable. Now if you print this, you can see 10 is of int 32, 10.26 is double type, C is of character type, India is string type, true is boolean type, this is date type. So what I mean to say, it is going to store multiple values which are of different data types. And one more thing, al dot, there is a direct sorting method. You no need to use any other third party classes like in arrays we use array dot sort and all those. So even you can do reverse also. Yep. So sorting is failed because it contains two things. So this topic I will cover you once after the collections phase. So this is how you can store multiple data type elements inside this particular array list. So this is how array list will behave. Now next go for stack and queue. The second one is stack and another one is queue. So stack S1 is equal to new stack. Guys, you people already studied about stack. Stack is a data storage where it is going to store in an order of last in, first out. So it is a one-way directional. It is going to be like this. So where you have, sorry, where it can store multiple values. The last one will be like this. So insertion order will be like this, even deletion order also will be like this. You cannot delete a specific element in between. Whatever the last inserted element is there, that is going to get deleted. So this is what called stack. So now stack will have two operations, insert and delete. Insert operation will be called as push. So 10, 20, 30, 40. I had inserted 4 elements by using the push method. So now let's print them by using the for each. So var x again, because it is going to support for multiple data type elements. So console write line of x. So you can see here we have 10, 20, 30, 40. What is the last inserted element? 40. If I delete, it is going to delete 40 first. So console write line after delete. So you cannot delete between elements, as I mentioned. I cannot delete 10 or 20. I cannot delete a specific element. Only I can do one thing, pop. Pop means whenever I perform pop operation, the last inserted value will get deleted first. Let's print the values again after delete. So you can see before that 10, 20, 30, 40, after delete 10, 20, 30. If I perform pop operation one more time, 30 will get deleted. If I perform pop for one more time, 20 will get deleted, 10 will get deleted. So compared to this, array is much more better if you see. So because we can target a specific location and you can insert value into this and you can delete that particular element also. So here there is no such operation. That is the reason we are not at all using the stack in our nowadays programming, until and unless in case if you want to follow the scenario, last element need to be fetching first, or last element is going to be deleted first. So the next one we have, that is what, queue. So queue is also similar to like a stack, but the thing is, so only difference is stack will get insertion order will be like this, the deletion order will be like this. That means it is going to work with a formula called first in first out. Whenever I delete first, the first inserted element is going to get deleted. So q1 is equal to some new q. So as usual you are going to write q1 dot nq. Here insertion operation is called nq and dq is for delete. So let's take the same example, 10, 20, 30 and 40. So by using for each, let's print them on the screen. Some var x in q1. So by using the console write line, let's print the text value on the screen. Again you can see here the order 10, 20, 30, 40 will get printed. Whenever I delete, now this time 10 will get deleted first, because it works with a formula called first in first out. So q1 dot dq. So dequeue is nothing but deleting the values. So after delete, let us print the values. Yeah, let's delete an element now. So after that, let's print the values again after delete. So now you can execute. So you can see 10, 20, 30, 40. After delete, the 10 was deleted first. So we have 20, 30, 40 only. So this is how queue will work. If you observe, when compared to stack and queue, array is best other than in an operational format. So array list is going to store multiple data type elements, but at the time of utilizing, every time I need to check what is the data type of that particular element. That is a drawback. That is the reason we are not using non-generic collections until and unless we want to follow their functional property. So now coming to the generic collections, we have list. So list is of generic type. Generic in the sense it works for all, but whenever you are utilizing, you need to stick on for one particular data type. So we have list. So here you need to mention whatever the data type it is. Suppose string courses equal to new string. Like that you need to declare. So this less than and greater than, we'll call it as template types. Even in C++ we have the topic called templates. So nothing but you are sticking on for one data type. So you can add values like this, courses that add. So you can use C, C++, C#.NET like this. You can insert one element at a time. You can also do one thing where you can insert multiple values at one shot. So courses dot, there is an option called add range. Add for single element, add range is for multiple elements. So add range, here I am taking a new string array because the data type of this particular array is string. Here I can pass multiple values this time. Java, COBOL, MySQL example. So this is one option, and this is inserting multiple at a time. Even you can declare them by default with some values. So suppose SQL server db2 like this. These are the three ways. Either you can give the default values, you can insert values by add method, you can insert multiple values by using add range method. Okay, so these are the insertion process. Now coming to the for each, you can print the values by using the for each. Here you can use either var or else you can go for data type because it is sticked on for one data type. So var x in some courses. Every time you can print it on the screen. So if I execute, this is going to be like this. Okay, so courses dot sort. So you can sort them and you can reverse them also after sorting. It will become descending order. So courses dot reverse. Okay, so this is how a list will work. Now there is one more type of list is there, that is what called sorted list. Sorted list is there. I think sorted list is not working. Sorted list require key also. Don't use that one. After dictionary you will come to know how it will behave. Okay, now the next one we have linked list. So linked list is also same, but in working functionality is same. Internally it will have the different behavior. Let me show you diagrammatically. So linked list image. So you can see this example. So now wherever there is free element, system is going to collect like this. So it will contain two parts. One will store the value, another one will store the address of the adjacent element or behind element. So like that, these two are get connected, these two are connected, these two are connected. That is the reason we are calling this as a linked list. these two are linked by address, these two are linked by address, these two are linked by address. When there is no address, that means that is the last element. Okay, so this is how linked list will work. So it works like the same, no change at all. So courses equal to new courses. So while you cannot pass the value here, you can insert only in this point of view, courses dot add first or add last. You need to decide in what way I need to insert. Always better to go with add first or add last also fine. So here let's go with C++. So Java SQL Server, something like this. So you are going to use for each loop whenever you want to get values from that. So for each loop will be same, no doubt at all here. So where you are going to get values. So this is what linked list. List and linked list will be same, only internally. So linked list will be connected by the adjacent element by storing address also. That is what linked list. Now the next type in the collection, that is what set. So set is nothing but hash set we have. So guys, if you ask me the difference between list and set, list will allow duplicates but set won't allow duplicates. That is what the only difference. So if I take a list, I can store multiple elements at duplications also. You can take the same thing. So string, suppose courses equal to new list. Here you can see I can give Java. So the same Java can be stored for hundreds of times. There is no doubt about it. It won't give any error because it allows duplicates. But set won't allow duplicates. Hash set won't allow duplicates. So you can see hash set of string. The same example I am taking. Don't be feel bored for that. So new string. So here if you see, I am trying to store some values. So Java, C++ and SQL. And even I can insert values by using the add method as it is, courses.add. So here there is no add range, remember that point. So here if I give SQL, here if I give Java, I mean I am trying to duplicate this. If I execute, sorry, I need to print, otherwise nothing will be there. So for each var x in courses console write line of x. Now if you see SQL and Java I given for 2 times, you can see here I inserted for 1 time, here I inserted for 1 time, but in the inside values it will be stored only once, because every time whenever we are inserting a value into the hash set, so system will check whether that value is already there or not. If it is not there, so it will insert by generating a unique number for every value, remember this point, okay. So by unique number, it is going to search whether the duplication is happening or not. So at any cost, it won't allow you to do duplication while at the time of inserting the values. Remember the point carefully. Okay. So now there is one more type of set is there, that is what called sorted set. So sorted set is nothing but whenever you insert an element, it is going to be auto arranged in an ascending order. Auto arrange it in a ascending order. You can see this one, A, C, C, J, S. You can see the order of insertion also. So set and hash set is same, where they won't allow duplicates, but the thing is sorted set will automatically rearrange the data after every insertion of the element. So this is how a sorted set will work for us. So here also again sort method is there by default. So since it is sorted set, it is not there. For normal set, it is going to be there. Now the last one, dictionary in the collection. Set and dictionary will be same guys. Only thing is, so in set the key value unique number was generated by system, But for dictionary, we only need to generate a unique value for every unique key for every value. So now you can see this dictionary where you will have two templates. You can see the arrow marks also. So template key and template value. Key always unique. You should not duplicate key. Value can be duplicated. I'm repeating once again. In dictionary, so there will be two factors. One is key, another one is value. Key always it is unique. You cannot duplicate. So but value can be duplicated. Remember this. So I'm taking integer type. Key can be any data type. Don't be in a mindset key always should be a number. You can take anything. So then it is a string. So courses equal to new dictionary of integer, and now you can see this. So courses dot add. So here also add will be there, no add range method. So here you should pass integer key and string value because I selected like the same. So 101 suppose like C. So if I use C++ for 101 again, 103 is for C#.net, 104 is also C#.net, 105 is some SQL. As of now there is no error detected, but when you compile, so system will give error at this line number 15 because 101 key is already available. You can see this. An item with same key is already been added. You should not use the same key again. Now let's change this as 102 and execute. Now you can see there is no error at all, even though I duplicated the value. So what I mean to say, key always unique, value can be duplicated. So while in case if you want to print this, you can use var x from the courses as it is. Here you will get two things, guys. In case if you want to get that key value, you can write x dot key. In case if you want to get the string value, so you have to write x dot value. So in the output you can see like this, 101c, 102c++, like that. So this is what dictionary. Like the same again we have sorted dictionary, so where the data will be automatically arranged in based on the courses, based on the key value. So I'm just shuffling to see the proper result. So 101, 3, 2, 5, 4. But if you see in the output, you will get in an order of 101 to 105. Okay. So this is what collection. So I hope these are all clear to you. I am repeating once again. So these particular things can store multiple data type elements, but whenever you are performing any operation, every time you have to check what is the data type of that particular element. That is the reason non-generic collections are not using in our day-to-day examples. So generic collections, we have list, set and dictionary. List will store duplicates, set won't store duplicates. In dictionary, based on the key we are inserting the values, so that key cannot be duplicated, value can be duplicated. So this is what the collection topics in C#. I hope it is clear to everyone. So thank you.